You can at least buy me dinner first. I mean, jeez.
We arrived in Savannah and stayed at Thunderbolt Marina. We chose Thunderbolt Marina because it was closer to downtown Savannah than Isle of Hope, but there were a lot of loopers here as well. We are in Savannah. We're in the historic part of Savannah today, and we're going to be touring all the historic areas and sightseeing, and this is an area that I've really...
The highlights of the Savannah tour is this place. It's called the Mercer House. It was built by the great-great-grandfather of Johnny Mercer, the singer. You know, Skylark and different songs. But it was owned in the 80s by a guy named Jim Williams, who shot his boyfriend right here in this room. And there was a big trial over it, and they wrote a book about it called Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, and then Clint Eastwood made a movie with John Cusack and Kevin Spacey about the story called Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. If it's open, we're going to take a tour of the house, I think. But, well, it's kind of early in the morning. But it's now a museum. And it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should. The night we pulled in to go to Savannah a couple days ago, we watched it just because it's a great movie.
We did tour the Mercer House, and it was full of antiques and artwork, but they did not let us take any pictures or video. We are in Telfair Square, which is one of the 22 squares that are left in Savannah from the original people, I guess, the original colonization. It's beautiful. These squares are just gorgeous, and they're surrounded by old houses and community. They were a community center for the people that lived here.
This is the Haitian soldier monument in one of the squares.
This is the famous fountain in Forsyth Park. It was the largest park that was in the area. We went to Wormslow Historic Site in the outskirts of Savannah, and it has the longest live oak archway drive in the U.S. It's 1.25 miles, and it was just breathtaking. It was so pretty. It has ruins of a colonial plantation that was still, the ruins were there.
This was a fort that was around the plantation house, protected from the Indians.
Hurry, I'm missing it!
We're going into the Savannah Bananas game. They knew I was a VIP, so we get a VIP entrance.
Was it Ezra in the metal bleachers? Oh my gosh. What about Trip?
We were able to get tickets to the Savannah Banana game and had a really good time. The tickets are usually sold out. The games are usually sold out. And if you're ever able to go, I would strongly suggest it. They're just do all kinds of antics, and it's just a fun, family-friendly environment. They had a dance team called the Banana Nanas, which was a dance team that you had to be a grandma to be a part of. We had a great time at the game, and the next day we left Savannah and headed towards Charleston. We are on the north side now of Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. So we are in South Carolina, which is our 7th state that we have gone through. So we're excited. It's a beautiful day. It got cold. We were surprised how cold it was this morning, but it's been a beautiful passage. It was windy this morning, but it's really died down. Our these houses are gorgeous, and we're in 25 feet of water. We have some friends that are staying here on Hilton Head. They're in the marina. We passed the marina just a minute ago. It's back there. And but we decided not to do Hilton Head. We're moving. We're going to travel on and anchor out tonight at Beaufort, South Carolina, right outside Beaufort. We spent multiple days in Savannah. We spent an extra day in Savannah, and because one day was some pretty ugly weather, so we spent one more day, and it was beautiful, and we did a lot of sightseeing. And I even got to see, we lucked into some tickets for the Savannah Banana baseball team. So I was very excited about that. We're approaching Port Royal Sound, which we had a boat beside us this morning was asking us where we were going today, and he's the one that told us apparently there was a small craft advisory this morning. And I woke up this morning and checked the weather, and I didn't see a small craft advisory, but he said I'd be worried about the sound, but the wind has really died down. The small craft advisory was over at 10 o'clock this morning, so but he said that this sound is about 7 miles wide, and I think we're going about 8 miles an hour right now, so it'll take us about an hour to cross this sound. We are anchored just south of Beaufort, South Carolina. We're across from the Paris Island, which is right over there, and we just finished hearing some bugles. They played the bugles at night, so I guess as the sun sets. It's a pretty anchorage. We are on the other side of this island right here, and north just a tiny bit is Beaufort. But we decided not to go to a marina. We haven't been on anchor very much recently, and that we both miss, so we decided to anchor out tonight. There's houses over there. And then there's nothing behind us on the other side. Oops, sorry. There's just flatlands over there, low country, I guess. It's chilly. It's chilly out, but it's a beautiful night. They said that we're close to an inlet, like that inlet we were passing through earlier. We're not very far from that at all. So we're gonna get some tidal changes, which is probably gonna flip us around a couple of times, rotate us. But Chris is good about keeping track of that and making sure we're fine. So it's a beautiful anchorage, beautiful night. And a great sunset. We're passing by the Paris Island Marine Basic Training Facility, or camp. Your water tower says, "We make Marines." We are at our anchorage at Bull Creek in South Carolina. We are in the marshes for sure. Nothing around us. We're getting an early start today. Scratch that. We're getting a, we're just getting started this morning. We slept till almost 8. But the marsh is really pretty. Last night we came outside and we could see stars forever. It was so pretty. So this is Bull Creek that we're in, this little inlet. This little creek is Bull Creek, and then it goes into Parrot Creek, which is right there. And then Parrot Creek goes that way out to the Atlantic.
Okay, well, it's around 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday. We're in Jones Island here. We're about 10 miles south of Charleston. Absolutely beautiful anchorage. It's like anchoring on a lake. This is called Church Creek.
This was the third night of anchorage from Savannah to Charleston. The first night was near Paris Island, the second night was Bull Creek, and this is Church Creek. And we left Church Creek the next morning, having 19 miles to go to Charleston, and we knew the wind was going to get strong about 10:30 or so, so we were trying to beat the wind, and we went pretty fast to Charleston for about 19 miles and got there just at 10:30, and literally 5 minutes before it was calm, but we got there, the wind started blowing up, and it was kind of rough.
We arrived at the Safe Harbor Charleston City Marina. I chose this marina because it was on the other side, just on the other side of the Charleston Peninsula from the historic district. And this marina actually had free shuttles that would take you back and forth to the historical areas, and which was a perk. I really enjoyed that. The winds had started and the current was ripping through here, so the marina sent out 3 dock hands to help us tie up, and they were such a help. It was a lot of things going in different directions, but they did a really good job. So we were very excited to get to Charleston because of the historical aspects of it. The historic district was beautiful. We walked and saw some houses. We wanted to see the old homes and the museums, and we wanted to go to Fort Sumter and also to see the aircraft carrier, the Yorktown.
It was nice. We went in a dungeon. We went to several restaurants, and we were busy the whole time. Okay, this is the place where we bought our tickets to go to Fort Sumter, and they had a little museum inside. It was nice, and just to the right of this was the dock where we got on the water taxi to head over to Fort Sumter.
So we took the ferry over to Fort Sumter. This is us arriving at the fort.
And it started raining, and it was really gloomy that day. And the fort is in ruins. It's really maybe half as much as there as it used to be.
We are at Fort Sumter. We just got off the ferry, and the fort is behind me, and we're about to take the tour with the National Park Service.
Well, the Park Service had a tour guide, a park ranger, I guess, a young lady who's right there on the right, and she gave an absolutely wonderful story about how the fort was initially bombed by what turned out to be the Confederate Army at the very beginning of the war, the Civil War that they started the war. And it was a very good story. I really enjoyed it. It was maybe 20 minutes long, and we wandered around the fort, and you could see the old places where the cannons were, and some of the cannons were still there, and it was just a miserable day.
It was rainy and cold.
Yeah, and being in like this old wet stone sculpture architecture didn't help the feeling. We went up to the top of the fort and looked around. You could see the overlook of the bay and imagine how it would have protected the bay with its cannons. We also took a tour of the Provost Dungeon, which used to be an old prison where they used to imprison pirates in the 18th century and hang them. It was pretty neat. They had little scenes set up in there with the prisoners and different reenactments. This guy was the tax keeper. What was interesting about the place was these bricked archways that were down there, all interconnecting. It was very nice.
This is the USS Yorktown, which replaced the USS Yorktown that was sunk by the Japanese during World War
on
II.
both sides of an aircraft carrier. If you look underneath the tent, that web structure on the side.
This one was commissioned in 1943 and decommissioned following Vietnam.
And once we dock and you look up the starboard side.
This is called Patriots Point, which consists of the USS Yorktown aircraft carrier and the destroyer, the SS
Laffey.
And this is some World War II planes inside the hangar bay of the aircraft carrier. And it is huge.
It was really big.
And then this is the flight deck with some Vietnam area to modern time, relatively modern time planes.
8 months ago, this seemed like a really good idea.
I'm here with Laura, and we are on the Great Loop, and we've just spent some time, several days in Savanna, Georgia, and now we're in Charleston, South Carolina, and both of these have been just wonderful,
Yes.
historical journeys. In fact, Savanna was so cool. The culture just came to life.
Definitely. The old, the houses are beautiful. The history that's here has been it's been wonderful to be just walking the streets and seeing everything here.
Yeah, the prices, though, you have to be a little careful. But the marina does give a free hot dog at the gas station, which we did enjoy after our $78 steak the other night. But I must say it was great. Also, we just experienced the water taxi, went over to the Yorktown aircraft carrier.
It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience.
Really some Discovery Channel type movies that they showed that you really experienced what the gentlemen in World War II went through, and it's kind of awe-inspiring and very sombering.
Yes, very much so. So here's another one of my beautiful sunsets. And stay tuned. Chris has a new feature, View from Miracle's Shower Window, that he'd like you to watch. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the like button. And we also read all of our comments, so we would love to, and we answer them, so we would love to hear from you. We like to hear from the people that are enjoying the videos that we're making. Also, YouTube keeps telling us that something magic is going to happen when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and tell your friends, because we really would like to know what happens at 1,000 subscribers.
This is a new weekly feature, which is going to be a video out the shower window of Miracle. Mostly for Laura because she's too short to see out the window, but I've seen a lot of pretty sights over the course of the last few months out this window while I was taking a shower, and I thought I'd share it with everybody. And here is Charleston Harbor and some sailboats anchored, but there's going to be a lot more and a lot prettier.